Hi besties, welcome back to another video. It has been a while, especially a while since I posted a video like this, a wrap up of all the books I read within the month, except since it has been a while, instead of all the books I've read in April, this is all the books I've read from January to April. Newsflash, it's not a crazy amount because I haven't been reading a crazy amount, but I will say I did come back in clutch in April and I read 4 books, which is the most I've read in a month since 2024. So, since like middle of 2024 actually. But yeah, let's get started. There's 2 books I don't have. Honestly, I feel like we have a range. I have like 3 books I've read that I've had to read for school, and the rest are on my own time, but we have a range. There's some romances, there's some fiction. I don't know if I'd consider it literary fiction, but I think when I feel like in my head I would think one of them is, or classical fiction, one of those. And we have fantasy. So yeah. So the first book I read was To Kill a Mockingbird, which I had to read for school. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't my favorite thing. I think I rated it 4 stars. Oh my gosh, I have to realize I have to remember the ratings. I think I rated it 4 stars because I genuinely did like parts of it, but then the other parts of it, it's like very hard to understand what they're trying to get at, and because of the way they word things, it's not as clear as you would expect it to be if you were reading a romance where they just say what's on their mind. There's like read between the lines type things, and it makes things more difficult. But I rated it 4 stars. I liked it for the most part, but there was parts that were stupid to me, and yeah, that's all I can say for that. I honestly don't remember. That was like 5 months ago. To Kill a Mockingbird follows a little girl named Scout. She's about, I want to say she was like 8, but I very much could be wrong. I really don't remember. But she was a young child, and she's kind of telling a story, but like not about herself. It's kind of within like the realm of her family, but she's really talking about her father and kind of her being a child trying to understand what things through her father's eyes in a way. And it takes place like in the 50s. No, the 30s, the 1930s, because it was around the Great Depression, and it's a lot of racial injustices, and that is a very big theme in the book, and I find that part particularly interesting. And also the main girl's father, Scout, her father is a lawyer, and to me, law is very interesting, and so I really found like when they were were in court and stuff like that stuff really interested me. So yeah, I think that had to be like one of my favorite. That was like my favorite scene of the book, when they were in the courtroom and doing law stuff. The next book I read was Addicted for Now. This book got me in my book slump 100%. I really wasn't reading. Like, not only was I not reading, I wasn't reading good books. Also, still to this day, I have yet to read a 5-star since March of 2024. Guys, it's been over a year. So if you do have any 5-star reads, recommendations, please drop them, because I am in desperate need of a 5-star. I forgot what it's called. Releasing 10 or something like that. I don't know. In my head, I'm still used to claiming 10, but Chloe Walsh's new book comes out next month, and I cannot wait for that. That I'm hoping is going to be my first 5-star in a very long time. There's a lot of books in here that I thought were gonna be 5 stars and weren't. But we'll get to that. Okay, so we have Addicted for Now. This series is everything, and as I keep getting deeper into it, I'm realizing how much I love it. And one particular reason why I love it is because it's more than just a romance, and more than different romance stories. They are found family. They're 100% found family. They're friends and couples who come together, and they're not just friends and couples. They're all a family, and they all come together, and I really love that. This book series follows Lily and Lo. There's a bunch of different couples, but the main couple I would say is Lily and Lo. they're both addicts, so they're going through a lot of things. Without spoiling it, that's pretty much it. In order to conceal their addictions, there's things that they have to do, and just read it. Just read it. You won't regret it. They do get longer, but so yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining because I love it. I love it. I want to say I rate it like a 4.25 or changing it 4.5. This was so good. Like, this book took me, okay, I'm yapping a lot, but this book took me a lot to get through. I started this book like last August, I think it was, and I don't know, it took me so long. And it really is just something with this series, because when I get into the series, it takes me a good 2 weeks to really get involved for some reason. I don't know why, but I really do love this one. I think this is my favorite of all the Lily Lowe books. This book talked about the other sisters and the other members of the family, and it's just like, I really liked it. And the plot twist, oh my god, everything. 4.5, and it got me on my book slump, so extra points for that. And then for school, of course, I had to read a little novella thing. It was called Of Mice and Men. I do not remember who it was by. I didn't like it. I rated 3 stars. It was alright. I mean, like, the whole friendship aspect of it, I liked. But at the same time, again, with the whole story not really making sense, not really adding up, wasn't the most interesting to read. I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it. But it was enough to keep me interested where I had to be. So it was 3 stars. It wasn't the worst thing I've read, but it wasn't the best thing. It is about these friends, Lenny and George. Lenny is mentally disabled. I hope I'm saying that right. Like, he doesn't really speak for himself. George usually does that for him. And it's kind of them being buddy-buddy and the rest of the world not knowing about Lenny and just assuming he's just this weirdo. But George always being there for Lenny, even when Lenny makes his mistakes. And I love that concept of it. But yeah. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it because it wasn't my favorite thing. But if that seems like something that's interesting to you, go right ahead, because it's not the worst thing. You know? And then we have The Way I Am Now by Amber Smith. Guys. I read The Way I Used to Be back in like November, and to me it was like, I liked it, I did, but in the beginning, I was obsessed with it in the beginning, but then it kind of got to a point where I'm like, she has turned into such a different person, and obviously I've realized why, and I understand why, and I get it, and I don't blame her for anything, because if you're going through that, obviously I understand. But it took turns that I didn't expect, and not necessarily where I thought it was gonna go. I mean, I did rate that like a 4 stars, but then I read this one, and I love this book so much. I love so many things about it. I love Eden in this book. I love her so much more. The way her character evolved, chef's kiss. I love Josh. And there was so many things going on in this book. Like, it was Eden and her character development, and there was Josh trying to be there for her, and then there was like a romance aspect of it. Great. I love it. I love the story. I love the characters and how everybody interacts. I just love it. I love it. And I love like the simplicity, and I just love young adult novels that are like this. I don't know if that's too of a wide spectrum, but I love YA novels that are like this. This book follows Eden, who on one night something really terrible happens to her, and she kind of goes through it, and she doesn't tell anyone for, I want to say it was 4 years. And it's kind of like this event happened and how her life changes because of it, and her personality changes, and everything around her friendships and her relationships, and it is so good. Definitely recommend the duology. I think I rated this one a 4.25, if I believe. It was just so great. It was so great. And now we get to all the books I read in April. Guys, I'm so excited. I love these books. First book of April, Kiss the Sky. Also, from this I read like early March, and then we're going early April. So it had been a while, but as you guys know, I went on my trip to Georgia, and I was on the plane, and I started this again. And I just, like, got invested, and I was like, okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking where it's going. It takes me a while with this series to really get into it. I think, like, once I'm, like, 60 pages in, I'm like, okay, all right. And that's when I'm, like, settled in. This book, I really did love. I love Rose and Connor. I love the plot behind this book. Absolutely insane, crazy. What the heck? But I will say, I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say about the plot twist and the crazy thing that happens in this book. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. The way they react to what happens is just so crazy to me, because I feel like they just brushed it off like, oh wow, yes, that's gonna change my life, but okay. And in my head, I'm like, if I were you, I'd be bawling on the floor, actually, and, like, I would never leave my house again. Never would I leave my house again. I really like this. I really love Rose and Connor, and seeing Rose in a different perspective, because up until this, we haven't got her point of view. She's just seen as this cold, protective sister, but she has a personality underneath that, and I love it. And Connor, I don't know, I don't feel any, like, crazy things towards Connor. He's not, like, my favorite, but he's not my least favorite. I like him, but yeah. So this is, again, the same series as the Addicted for Now. It's called the Addicted series. It's just about her older sister, Rose, and Rose's boyfriend. Then I continued the series, and I went to Hot House Flower, which I did predict that this was going to be a 5-star. It wasn't. But I did think about giving it a 5-star at a point, but I'm like, it's really not giving me that feeling. But at this point, I really don't even think I remember what a 5-star feeling feels like. That is beyond that. This follows Lily and Rose's youngest sister, Daisy. Daisy is everything. I love Daisy so much. I think Daisy might be my favorite sister. I think she is my favorite sister. Daisy is just like, her sisters go through so much, and she's younger, so she kind of feels like what she goes through is invalidated, and I just, like, that hurts me for her. But, like, I love it, and I love the relationship in here. I don't know if who she's with is a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it, but I will tell you, I was rooting for them since the first book. This takes place 2 years after Kiss the Sky, but I absolutely love this one. Isn't my favorite. It's not my favorite of the series, but it's up there because I really love these characters. I think I love the most. Not that it's my favorite, like, plot line, but I love the characters the most. Then another school book, because they just love to give me books and assignments to read. And I obviously count them because I am the student who does actually read the whole book, even if I'm not loving it. But I did actually like this one, Fences, by August Wilson. I just recently read this, finished this, last week. I did like this. However, I will say, my teacher likes to argue that the main character in this book is a tragic hero. A tragic hero is what she calls him. And I will say, this man is in no way a hero. I don't know what point of view this woman is looking at this character, Troy, at, but he is a horrible person, and he is terrible to his kids, and he's just terrible. I mean, yes, he could be worse, but he's nowhere near good. Just because you're not the worst doesn't mean you're good. This book follows Troy Maxon. It's technically a play. It's really short. It's only 100 pages. It follows Troy. This takes place in the 50s and the 60s. So I wouldn't say that there's still segregation, but African Americans are still treated differently. And Troy, was a baseball player. He loved the game of baseball. When he was playing baseball, they did not let him play it professionally. And he liked to argue that it was because of race. But Troy's thing is that his flaw is that he doesn't see that the times have changed and things aren't as bad as they used to be in terms of racial injustice. And that is a continuous argument that he has with his son Corey, because his son Corey loves playing football and wants to pursue that as a career. I do really enjoy this, and we did just finish watching the movie in class today, and the movie is actually really good. It's with Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. I rated this book 4 stars. Then we have the last book, which actually I finished today. Oh my god. Like, the fact that I even got to read this book and that this is a book is just crazy to me. Watch Me by Tahereh Mafi. What? If you guys, I don't know how much I've talked about this, but back in 2022, I started the Shatter Me series, and it was everything to me. It got me hooked for months. I think there was a point where I was reading a Shatter Me book every weekend, and I read like 2 a day once. I love this series so much, and the characters, and it's all everything to me. And this book is from the point of view of Adam's brother, James, which in the series, in the Shatter Me series, he was like 10 or 13, and now he's 21. So I think that would mean he's 11. Wow, I can't do math. Now he's 21, and it blows my mind. I started the audiobook, and I was like, this is a grown man speaking. What the hell? He's a grown man. This is weird. I do really like this. I love being back in this world and getting to read about it, and I love seeing how much the characters have grown. I will say a lot of things over 10 years did change in ways I did not expect, but also things that are crazy that I'm like, oh my god. My only thing with this book is that the romance in it, not that there really is any, but the way the 2 main characters feel about each other is very giving insta love and love at first sight and attraction at first sight. And I do not mess with that. Even if it's in a fantasy book, no, it's not for me. I love the writing style, I love everything, but the insta-lovey thing, not my thing. But I do love this series, and I can't wait to see where this goes. The ending was crazy, the whole book was insane, and really interesting all throughout. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I rated this one 4.25. To summarize what the series, really is about, in general, the Shatter Me series follows Juliet. I'm not going to talk about this one specifically because this is, so further from the first one. The Shatter Me books follow Juliet Ferrars, who is a girl who has these magical powers. I haven't summarized this book in so long. This is actually insane. She's a girl with powers, and because of her powers, which have been assumed deadly to others in society, she was locked up in an asylum for 264 days. Yeah. There's this government that called the Reestablishment that kind of controls everything about the world, nature, and literally everything. And everything is in sectors, and I'm realizing I'm terrible at summarizing this. Anyways, there's romance, there's fantasy, there's dystopian, there's everything you want and more. Read it. You will not regret it. Hands down, best series ever. I had 10 5-stars in that series. The majority of those books in the series are 5 stars to me. Overall, it is a 5-star series to me. So, go read that. Go read this. Alright, well that sums up my wrap up January to April. I read 8 books. I'm really hoping that May will be a good reading month because it seemed like it will be. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys can you guys can subscribe if you want, and comment what you guys read recently or this year, or what your favorite read has been so far. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!